Hi everyone, so this is a review of Bubbles Salon on 2020 K Street. And I'm going to tell you a little story because I want you to put yourself in my shoes and to really get a sense for what happened to me here. So when I was a kid, I was really tied to my mom. I mean, we did everything together. We were one. So I went to work with her this one night and I watched this documentary on Freddie Mercury. So they were going on and on about how magnificent Freddie Mercury was and how talented he was, and they were playing these clips and it was just like, oh my God. And I had made all these plans about how Freddie Mercury and I were like gonna get married and fall in love and how talented he was, and I was in love with him. And then it got to that point where they told me that he died. So I'm like, Mom, Freddie Mercury's dead? And she's like, yes. Something you should know about my mother. She will not have a conversation about sex, drugs, alcohol, rock and roll. She will cut loose and just like not answer you or give you something completely misleading that like scars you for life, which is what she did to me. So she told me that they had stuck a dirty needle in him and he had gotten sick and that he died like that. Plus, I mean, like, what was she going to say? I was like 7 at most when we had this conversation. So I picture somebody sticking a needle in the dirt and then sticking it into him and then him getting really sick and dying. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm so overwhelmed with like pain and just sadness and like looking around like a lost child. I'm like, oh my God, Freddie Mercury has died. I had known him for a whole like minute before that. And then I proceeded to cry for 4 days nonstop. I mean, this is like, I'm getting even verklempt right now, like thinking about it because I was so sad. Grief, deep grief I'm feeling. It's like the highest high and then the lowest low within 5 minutes. You know, what do you expect? I was a child. I was so upset. 4 days of crying. And I had pictured like we would have had beautiful buck-toothed children. I have a huge overbite. He also did. I mean, our children would have had like the biggest overbite ever, which has been like this. And it would have been awesome because they would have been so talented. And I just lost out on that because he died. Also, he was gay. So, I mean, to this day, that sadness of having found out that Freddie Mercury has died haunts me. And every time I get really sad, I start hearing either a Queen song or a Freddie Mercury song as a soundtrack in the background to whatever's going on that's making me sad. And if it's really, really sad, then it's solely Freddie Mercury because all the rest of Queen is still alive. Freddie Mercury died. So it's either Living on My Own, which is a solely Freddie Mercury song, or, you know, any other Queen. Usually I Want to Break Free. So I go to Bubbles Hair Salon. I told you that to tell you. That I go to Bubbles Hair Salon and I sit down. You really should not make any excuses for these people, right? They're getting paid to give you haircuts. If it's not a good haircut, walk away. If you sense, even for a second, that this person is not going to give you the ultimate experience and give you the best haircut of your life, walk away. Get up. Do it. Or ask her to give you whatever it is that you need, because it's not going to get any better. You're going to be really disappointed and you're going to be hearing Freddie Mercury in your head. I promise you. So anyway, she starts touching my hair and it's so obvious that she does not know what she's doing and I'm letting it continue. And I'm like, and I made it worse. I'm like, oh, I want some layers. Can you give me some layers in the back? And she's like, oh yeah, you want layers? She grabs the thing, just cut, zip. There you go, there's a layer. And then another, zip, there's another one. And she's like, ah, look, your hair looks great. And it's just literally like ziggurat. There's a ziggurat in my head. Like, it looks like this. This is what my hair looked like. It was just layers all around. It looked like it looked like stairs, I'm telling you. It was terrible. This is when I start hearing, sometimes I feel I'm gonna break down and cry. Nowhere to go, nothing to do with my hair, 'cause it's crazy bad. And that's exactly what happened. It was just, oh my God. So, and then on top of the really bad choppy haircut that I've been to several stylists since to fix, I told her to blow dry it wavy. Not straight, wavy. And her definition of this was to grab little pieces of my hair. Wait, hold on, let me do this side. Grab little pieces of my hair and go like this. Well, thicker, obviously, but this is the only one I have available. Go like this, and then just leave it like that, and then mousse it, like heavily mousse it, and then dry it. And that's what she did. And then she kind of tussled, and she's like, oh, your curls aren't holding. I'm like, oh, okay, what were you expecting? And then she blow dried it, and then that was it. And my hair looked like I had just gotten out of the shower. And I told her this. I said, this is not what I asked for. My hair looks the same as it would look if I had just gotten out of the shower. Can you please fix it? She's like, oh, I have another customer. If you would like to wait until I'm finished with her, I would be more than happy to fix it for you. This is what I should have done. A, go up to the customer. Lady, save yourself $130 and go to somebody else. B, no, I'm your customer now. Fix my hair and then finish somebody else's. I did neither of these things. I sucked in my pride. It wasn't even pride. I was cowardly. I was the cowardly lion. And Freddie Mercury had taken over my head. I was listening to Living on My Own because of this severe depression of having gotten the worst haircut you could possibly get out of a place that calls himself professional. Bubbles professional. No, you're not professional. And so I paid $130 and I put my hair up and I had a beanie, so I put my beanie on. And then I left. I walked home like a coward that I am. I wrote a review about it, and somebody called me and was like, listen, can we please talk to you about your experience? We want to know what happened and what went wrong. I called them back because I'm a nice person like that. In my head, I'm like, I'm not going to tell them. Well, I'm not going to tell you either because that's just putting somebody on blast, and that's not nice. This girl was actually a really nice girl. She just didn't know how to cut hair. This is not her fault. This is Bubble's management fault because they're hiring people that don't have the expertise. They're putting them on the floor when they shouldn't be. I'm sure in a year or two, this girl is going to be a magnificent hair cutter. She just wasn't when I went there, and she did a very bad job, and that's unfortunate. I called them back 2 minutes later after she had left me the voicemail. I'm just calling you back because somebody there just called me. And they're like, oh, we don't know who you're talking about. And they put me on hold for 5 minutes, and they didn't know who I was talking about. So nothing was resolved. My hair was still very, very, very badly cut. I went to several stylists since, and my hair is still suffering. And I'm saying all of this so that you could put yourself in my shoes and have that Freddie Mercury song start going, sometimes I feel I'm gonna break down and cry because this person is giving me a really bad haircut, and I know it, and I should say something. Let Freddie Mercury save you. Say something. Don't just sit there and let them mess with your hair. Bubbles on K Street. Get your story straight. Start training your people better, or whatever it is that you do. It's not fair. Oh, I totally forgot about the color too. She did a very messed up color job, but that was easily fixed. I just boxed it. I did it myself after I got home. Anyways, don't go. 2 out of 5 stars for you, and find yourself a steady stylist, somebody that can definitely do your hair well, and that's very difficult to do in DC, but I have some tips on that coming up in one of my next reviews. Okay, hope you've been entertained by my crazy story and my Freddie Mercury story and my review, and I will be back soon.